Nothing really matters. Anyone can see. Nothing really matters. Nothing really matters much to me. La, da, 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 da. Well,
That sounds a little dark for you.
yeah, well, it's kind of dark. Yeah, it's a tragic song there. You know, the whole thing with Queen and Freddie Mercury is pretty tragic, but it's a great song. And besides, we're kind of living in tragic times according to a lot of people right now. A lot of people depressed and anxious, saying that our culture is more divided than it ever has been since the Civil War. How many people aren't going to get invited to Thanksgiving dinner this year just because they voted the wrong way in the last election? Huh? In America? What happened? Well, you know, it's simple really, but kind of profound. You ever notice sometimes how the most profound things are kind of simple once you realize they're right in front of your nose there? We have lost, here it is, we've lost a common spirituality that up until very recently 99% of us all used to share. In America and Western culture, this is referred to as our Judeo-Christian heritage, which, get ready for it now, which means that we got most of our moral teachings from the Bible.
The answer's coming.
Yeah, I know, huh? Pretty scary, huh?
Wow, just stare at the sidewalk. Come on, don't make eye contact.
Well, maybe not that scary. But it's true that over time our religious institutions kind of ended up being scarier than the devil or whatever else we were trying to avoid with our spiritual practice. Face it, in modern citizens of the digital age, quite frankly, they think we've outgrown religion. Superstitious nonsense for the technologically inferior commoners. Divine revelation? Yeah, maybe if you're on the right drugs, right?
Oh, you are so big.
But we shouldn't mock the religious. They are generally happier and more at peace than the non-believers. But still, it's easy to see how in a progressive age in which we find ourselves, it's too much to expect people can believe in this all-powerful father figure with a white beard up in the sky pulling all of our puppet strings.
It's a leap of faith.
Yeah, it's just a leap of faith too many of us are unwilling to take. Problem is, by kicking religion all the way to the curb, what we're doing is what they call throwing the baby out with the bathwater. Just because much of traditional religion is obsolete and outdated doesn't mean it doesn't have at least a portion of it that's worth preserving, that can provide us that common spirituality we used to all be a part of. What if there was a way to share a spiritual fellowship without having to believe in an all-powerful God? What if God was one of us? Just a slob like one of us. Just a stranger on the bus, trying to find his way home. Well, maybe not the bus part. That might be taking it a little too far there. And how about everyone in the rest of the world? The non-Western culture. Up until now, we've been talking about Western culture, but what about all those people in the other half of the world? Isn't there a way to unite us all now that geographical borders aren't as isolating and restrictive as they once were? In the East, they practiced their Dharma, which led to their karma. Lives lived with less drama. Whoa, whoa. Yes, karma is definitely a recurring theme in Eastern religions. Now, can we find a common thread on the Judeo-Christian side of the equation that kind of equals the karma thing? In the West, Jesus walked a path that led us from old to new. A simple uniting concept of golden is truth. Karma say hi to your brother. The gold in his room. Come and say hi to your sister. The gold in his room. That guy over there. So karma is the equivalent of the golden rule. And unbelievable as it is, you know how many people under 30 don't even know what the golden rule is? Do unto others what you would want them to do unto you. Simple, elegant platform where East can meet West, where young and old, believers and non-believers alike. Because even if you don't think Jesus was divine God, it's pretty well documented he kind of walked around with these dudes in the desert and tried to help people. And maybe his concept, this transcendental message of unity and hope, is more important than whether or not he's actually God. And isn't karma the equivalent of the golden rule? So hopefully going forward, we can make the rest about song and celebration. Let that be our moral platform. Don't get bogged down in the weeds with stuff that we just can't understand or is kind of obsolete and outdated. And go around and get back to playing music like I've been doing, Now I'm just a band dude. So, don't take my word for it. Listen to these other people. They might be able to tell you.
But thank you so much for your time. And if you'd like to say hi to anybody or just give me a thought, give me. You like to sing something? Sing something.
I don't want to sing, but I believe in your cause, and I think that you're doing good things.
Well, God bless you.
I see what you're saying, but the moral, overall, I think we all have
Yeah.
moral,
So what? I never made it past the bar band stage, but I did manage to rub elbows.
Exactly.
With quite a few celebrities over the years. Gwen Stefani, right after the Rolling Stones played a special show at the Hard Rock out in Vegas. Yeah, we talked for a while. Same with Juliette Lewis at the same show back there. Even though she was more obsessed with Brad Pitt, who was also in the room there, I understand. I ran into her about a year later at Irvine Meadows again, too, and she recognized me. Kirsten Dunst, at a Aerosmith concert at the MGM Grand out in Vegas. She was very kind enough to give me her area code. That, in and of itself, is an interesting story. Ed McMahon was at the same show there. Keanu Reeves at LAX, I held a door open for him for a taxi cab and gave him one of my cards. If he remembers that, it'll be a miracle. Kurt Hammett from Metallica, ran into him at one of the after parties from one of the 4 Fillmore shows in San Francisco that they did before one of their tours that year. You're my favorite Metallica dude. Yeah, I'm sure he remembers that one. Geddy Lee, Alex Lifeson, backstage at the Oakland Coliseum Arena from one of their shows there, Rush. Jeff and Frank from Tesla, many times ran into them, California, Vegas, even out at the Riverbend in Cincinnati. Frank, I remember you were concerned about being a good role model for your teenage son, who by now is into his 20s. Nothing to worry about. I can't think of a better role model, and keep on rocking. You guys are really solid. And a guy, I guess maybe one or two of us might recognize there. Yeah, this guy, Steven Tyler. I actually got to speak to this guy twice. Super flattered that he remembered who I was the second time. Second time I ran into him, he's like, I said, well, Steven, I'm here with this girl. I wanted you to introduce her. You probably don't even remember who I am. And he's like, oh, yeah, I remember who you are. I swear, that guy probably moved to Maui just to get away from me running at him every 5 minutes at one of his concerts with one of my band's CDs, okay? Sorry about that, Steven. I only wish that at the time I had Karmic Christianity to share with all these folks, because it's such an important message right now, because what we're all trying to do with this rock and roll thing is we're trying to bring people together. And as I get a little older, I realize that this comes from the heart. This music that we share with people comes from the spirit, okay? And if we lose our spirituality in our culture, we're not going to have this kind of, and notice that we really don't have this kind of music the way we used to. Greta Van Fleet's kind of an exception. Good guys, good job, guys. Saw you guys over at the Forum the other day. a younger band that has a really good Led Zeppelin sound. Really appreciate what you guys are doing, and so many other. I mean, there's so many good acts out there. Don't get me wrong, but you know what I'm talking about in general, especially in the music business. They would rather emphasize music that's cheaper to produce. We all know that, but it's okay. Now that we have this, I'm sharing it, and I'm sure we'll run and cross paths with each other again. And I can't wait to get you guys your own little karmic cross, and get out to spreading the love and sharing this message. And before I go, I just want to thank some of the people here that have been really supportive lately. The beautiful artist Karan from Los Angeles. We got Sherry from Huntington Beach and Elle in Florida. Now these girls assure me that they have backstage rock and roll stories to share with us that even rival my own. Now I know we can't all wait to hear from them, and these girls are lovely. Who else we got here? We got Hine and Bob, who I affectionately refer to as Boob, up in the Bay Area. Thank you guys for being there when going through the hard times, getting all this stuff up and running here. Tyree from Compton, Andrew from Pasadena. Special thanks to current and past board members, Julie from Dayton, Ohio, Ramona from Southern California, and the original board member along with myself, Brenda, out in Bullhead City where it all started. Isn't that hard to believe? Bullhead City of all places, but here we are, coming down to Southern California to make it all happen. Can't wait to see you all. And remember, something really matters. Karmic Christianity. Something really matters. Something really matters to you and me. But ever Karmic Christianity.